Somewhere on the internet right now, a Volkswagen owner is describing a rattling noise that started at 40,000 miles and turned into a $5,000 repair bill by 50. And somewhere else, a different Volkswagen owner just crossed 200,000 miles without touching anything but oil and tires. Same badge, same dealership smell in the showroom, completely different outcome. The difference almost never comes down to luck or how gently someone drove. It comes down to which engine was sitting under the hood the day they signed the paperwork. Volkswagen has built some of the most beloved engines in the industry and some of the most expensive regrets. Both reputations are true at the same time, because Volkswagen didn't build one engine family for the last 2 decades. It built several, changed direction more than once, and left a trail of engine codes that mean the difference between a car that lasts and a car that becomes a cautionary tale on a forum thread. The reputation problem. Ask around and you'll hear 2 completely opposite opinions about Volkswagen reliability, often from people who owned the exact same model year. That contradiction isn't people misremembering their own cars. It's a symptom of Volkswagen running multiple engine generations side by side for years, sometimes in the very same showroom, sometimes even in the same model trim, depending on the region and the year it was built. The clearest example sits inside the EA888 family, Volkswagen's workhorse turbocharged 4-cylinder that has powered everything from the Golf GTI to the Tiguan to the Jetta GLI. The EA888 badge alone tells you almost nothing, because a first-generation EA888 built in 2008 and a third-generation EA888 built in 2015 share a name and a displacement, and almost nothing else in terms of how they hold up over time. That single fact is the reason a blanket warning like "Don't buy a Volkswagen" misses the point entirely. The badge isn't the problem, the generation under the hood is. It's also why online reviews and word-of-mouth advice about Volkswagen reliability tend to be so unreliable themselves. A friend's cousin who bought a 2009 Jetta and dealt with 2 timing chain scares isn't lying about their experience. And neither is the coworker who put 180,000 trouble-free miles on a 2017 Golf. They're both telling the truth about 2 completely different engines that happen to share a family name. Treating those 2 stories as evidence for or against the same brand is where most shoppers go wrong before they've even started looking at listings. The chain that changed everything. The early turbocharged 4-cylinders Volkswagen built through the 2000s and into the early 2010s shared a common weak point: the timing chain tensioner. On paper, a timing chain should outlast the engine itself, unlike a rubber timing belt that needs scheduled replacement. In practice, the tensioners fitted to those early engines wore out well before the rest of the engine did. And when a tensioner fails, the chain can skip a tooth or jump entirely, which bends valves and can turn a routine repair into a full engine rebuild. The 1.4 TSI engine, especially the earlier EA111-based versions found in Golfs, Polos, and Jettas from the mid-2000s onward, developed a well-documented reputation for exactly this failure. Owners describe a metallic rattle at cold start that mechanics will recognize instantly, and forum threads are full of the same warning repeated in different words. If you hear that rattle, don't wait, because waiting is what turns a chain and tensioner job into a destroyed engine. The first-generation EA888, used through roughly 2007 to 2012 in Golfs, Jettas, Passats, and the corresponding ODI models of the era, carried the same design vulnerability. It wasn't a rare defect affecting a handful of unlucky cars. It was common enough that independent VW specialists still bring it up unprompted when a customer mentions they're shopping for an older Golf GTI. None of this means those older cars are worthless or that every one of them will fail. Plenty were caught early, repaired properly, and are still running fine. But it does mean that anyone cross-shopping used Volkswagens needs to know which generation of engine they're actually looking at, because the engine code on the block tells a very different story depending on when it was cast. The engine that fixed it. Volkswagen didn't ignore the problem. Starting around 2013, the third-generation EA888 arrived with revised pistons, a redesigned timing chain setup, and improved oil delivery specifically aimed at the failures that plagued the earlier versions. Independent mechanics and long-term owners consistently point to Gen 3 as the turning point where Volkswagen's modern Turbo 4 finally became something you could trust for the long haul, provided it gets the oil changes it needs. This is the engine worth looking for. It shows up under the Golf GTI, the Golf R, the Jetta GLI, the Tiguan, the Passat, and their ODI cousins including the A4, A5, Q3, and Q5, all built from roughly 2013 onward. If a used Volkswagen has this engine and a documented oil change history, it stops being a gamble and starts being a genuinely solid used car purchase, backed by the fact that it's also collected multiple Industry Engine of the Year awards over its production run and built up a large aftermarket following, which tends to happen only when an engine earns real trust. That doesn't mean the third-generation EA888 is flawless. Like almost every modern direct injection engine, it can accumulate carbon on the intake valves over time, since fuel no longer washes over them the way it did on older port-injected engines. That's a known maintenance item, not a design failure, and it's a world apart from a tensioner that can bend valves without warning. Which models actually have the good engine? Knowing to look for the third-generation EA888 only helps if it's clear which cars to actually go test drive. In the Golf lineup, that means the 7th-generation GTI and Golf R, sold from around 2015 through 2021, along with the standard Golf and Golf Sportwagen from the same window. The Jetta GLI from that same generation carries the identical engine in a sedan body, and it tends to fly under the radar compared to the GTI despite sharing the same drivetrain. The Tiguan gets more complicated because Volkswagen sold two very different generations under that name in North America. And the newer, larger second-generation Tiguan built from 2018 onward is the one paired with the Gen 3 engine and the more trustworthy ownership experience. The Passat B8 sold roughly from 2016 through 2022, and the Atlas 3-row SUV both carry it as well, along with the Audi A4, A5, Q3, and Q5 built on the same corporate platform during the equivalent years, since Volkswagen and Audi share engine architecture across the group. The practical takeaway is simple. Model year matters more than trim level. A base Golf from 2016 and a loaded Golf R from 2016 share the same fundamental engine generation, while a Golf GTI from 2010 and a Golf GTI from 2016 do not, despite wearing nearly identical badges on the back. Other engines worth trusting. The EA888 isn't the only Volkswagen power plant that has earned a good reputation. The smaller 1.0-liter turbocharged three-cylinder found in newer Polos and Golfs in various global markets has built a strong track record for being smooth and dependable. And by most owner accounts, it has largely avoided the chain tensioner headaches that dogged its predecessors. On the diesel side, older naturally aspirated and mildly turbocharged TDI engines from the 1.9-liter era have a near-legendary reputation for simply not dying, with plenty of examples still running well past 200,000 miles on nothing but basic maintenance. That reputation, though, applies specifically to the older, simpler TDI units. Not to every diesel Volkswagen has sold since, which brings up an engine that belongs firmly on the other side of this conversation. Engines to steer clear of. If the third-generation EA888 is the engine to look for, the 2.0-liter TDI diesel built before the emissions scandal broke in 2015 is the one to be most cautious about, for reasons that go beyond ordinary mechanical wear. Millions of these engines, sold across Jetta, Golf, Passat, and Beetle TDI models, were fitted with software that understated real-world emissions, which led to a massive recall and buyback program. Many of those cars were repurchased by Volkswagen directly, which means the ones still on the used market are often higher mileage examples or cars that fell outside the buyback criteria. Beyond the emissions software itself, these earlier TDI units can also develop issues with the emissions hardware over time, including the diesel particulate filter and EGR system, which get expensive to sort out. The earlier 1.4 TSI, particularly pre-2013 versions built on the EA111 platform, deserves the same caution already covered above. So does the first-generation EA888, found in Golfs and Jettas from the tail end of the 2000s. Neither is guaranteed to fail, but both carry a documented pattern of tensioner and chain problems that shows up often enough in independent mechanic reports and owner forums that it can't be waved away as bad luck. How to check what's actually under the hood. The good news is that none of this requires guesswork. Every Volkswagen has a vehicle identification number, and the engine code stamped on the block or listed on a build sheet will tell a mechanic exactly which generation of engine is sitting under that hood, regardless of what the badge on the trunk says. Before buying any used Volkswagen with a turbocharged 4-cylinder, it's worth asking a specialist to pull the engine code and confirm the generation, and asking to see service records that specifically mention the timing chain and tensioner, since a documented inspection or replacement is a strong signal the previous owner was paying attention. A cold start is also one of the simplest diagnostic tools available to an ordinary buyer. Listening for a rattle in the first few seconds after the engine fires, before oil pressure has fully built up, catches a huge percentage of tensioner problems before they become expensive ones. It costs nothing and takes 10 seconds, and it's one of the easiest ways to separate a healthy Volkswagen from one about to become a repair bill. Why the chain fails in the first place. It helps to understand what actually goes wrong mechanically, because it explains why this problem shows up so consistently across certain engine families and not others. A timing chain keeps the crankshaft and camshafts spinning in perfect sync, which controls exactly when each valve opens and closes relative to the piston beneath it. A spring-loaded tensioner keeps constant pressure on that chain so it never develops slack. And on the early EA1111.4 TSI and the first-generation EA888, that tensioner was underbuilt for the loads a turbocharged direct injection engine puts through it. Over time, and often well before 60,000 miles, the tensioner loses its grip. The chain develops just enough slack to slip a tooth on the camshaft sprocket, and once that happens, the precise timing between valves and pistons is gone. In an interference engine, which most modern turbocharged 4-cylinders are, a piston can physically strike an open valve when the timing goes wrong, bending it in a fraction of a second. What started as a cheap tensioner and a length of chain becomes a cylinder head repair or, in the worst cases, a full engine replacement. This is exactly the failure mode Volkswagen targeted when it reworked the design for the third-generation EA888. The tensioner geometry changed, the chain guides were reinforced, and oil delivery to the top of the engine was improved, so the tensioner could do its job reliably from a cold start, which is the single moment when oil pressure is lowest and the chain is most vulnerable. That single engineering fix is the real reason Gen 3 earned its reputation, and it's worth remembering that reputation was earned, not assumed. The cost difference is bigger than people expect. A routine oil change on any of these engines costs roughly the same, whether it's a first-generation EA888 or a third. That's part of why the risk is so easy to overlook when a car is running fine. The gap only shows up the day something goes wrong, and on a timing chain failure, that gap is enormous. A caught-early tensioner replacement, done before any damage occurs, typically runs into 4 figures once labor is included, because reaching the timing components on a transverse-mounted Turbo 4 is not a quick job. A chain that actually skips and bends valves is a different conversation entirely. At that point, the cylinder head often needs to come off, valves need to be replaced, or the head needs to be swapped, and depending on how much metal debris made it into the oil galleries, some shops will recommend a full engine replacement rather than trying to save the original. That repair routinely climbs into the range of a car payment for an entire year, and it's the exact scenario that turns a seemingly cheap used Volkswagen into the most expensive car someone has ever owned. Compare that to a Gen 3 EA888 with a carbon buildup issue, which is the most common complaint on that engine. A walnut blasting service to clean the intake valves, done every 80 to 100,000 miles, costs a fraction of a timing chain failure, and is a known, predictable maintenance item rather than a surprise. That's the real difference between an engine worth buying and one worth avoiding. Not whether it will ever need attention, but whether the attention it needs is predictable or catastrophic. What the transmission adds to the equation. Engine choice doesn't happen in isolation, because most of these turbocharged Volkswagens were offered with the DSG dual-clutch automatic transmission, and that gearbox has its own generational story worth knowing before signing anything. The wet-clutch DQ250, paired with many 6-speed DSG cars, including plenty of Gen 3 EA888 Golfs and Jettas, has built a strong reputation for durability when the fluid and filter are serviced on schedule, which Volkswagen recommends more frequently than most owners realize. The dry-clutch DQ200, used in some smaller displacement, lower torque applications, has a rougher reputation for clutch pack wear and mechatronic unit issues, particularly in stop-and-go city driving. None of this changes the core engine advice. But it's a reminder that a full pre-purchase check on any turbocharged Volkswagen should include asking which transmission variant is fitted and when the fluid was last changed, not just which engine code is under the hood. A great engine paired with a neglected transmission is still a bad used car purchase. The bottom line: Volkswagen doesn't deserve a blanket reputation as either bulletproof or unreliable, because the truth lives in the details most shoppers never check. The badge on the back of the car tells you almost nothing on its own. The engine code does. A third-generation EA888 with clean maintenance records is a genuinely good used car engine, backed by a design Volkswagen specifically reworked to fix its own earlier mistakes. An early 1.4 TSI, a first-generation EA888, or a pre-2015 2.0 TDI diesel, each carry their own well-documented risks that deserve real scrutiny before any money changes hands. So the real rule isn't don't buy a Volkswagen, it's don't buy one blind. Know the engine code before the test drive, listen for that cold start rattle, ask for the maintenance history, and don't forget to check which transmission is paired with that engine. Do that, and a Volkswagen can be one of the smartest used cars on the lot instead of one of the riskiest. The brand's own history proves both sides of that coin can be true at once. The same company that had to rework its own tensioner design also built an engine good enough to win repeated industry awards and develop a genuine aftermarket following, the kind of following that only forms around hardware people trust enough to invest in. A Volkswagen shopping list built around engine codes instead of trim badges is the difference between joining the first group of owners or the second.